All right. Okay, I'm back. Let me see. I want to do something different here. I want to know why I can't seem to get this focused right. Okay. Y'all, what a crazy morning. And it's going to be even crazier because the reason why I like going on my laptop, hey, Ellie, I'm on my phone, which makes this insane right now because I'm going to be looking away from you to see myself, but let me adjust my screen until I get slightly comfortable and it looks like I'm looking backwards. Hey Aaron, so glad you can join. Okay, so YouTube changed everything this morning. They changed everything. Mona, hi. Mona, are you in the Facebook group? I'm just curious. No. So we're gonna be YouTube friends, right? um, do you follow me on Instagram? Hey Juniper, so glad you can join. Y'all, thank you for finding me. Okay, didn't know there was one. Oh yes, there's a Facebook group. Um, all my videos have the Facebook group link, and then once this video goes live, I will add it in there. So come back, find the link, and then join the Facebook group. We share all of our projects and our creations. It's not just knit and crochet, it's jewelry, art, everything. It's all creatives. It's a place where we all hang out for creators and lovers of creations. Okay guys, so this is so weird. I'm gonna be looking at a different angle, and I had myself so propped beautifully um, because I wish I can go rotate it, but I can't. I just want to share with you the beautiful picture that Yvonne Carson sketched of me. Hopefully, maybe I can use this as my freeze frame for the beginning. Yvonne scheduled it or drew it for me, sketched it for me to thank me for. Oh, will it fit here? There, it'll fit right there. Perfect. She sketched it for me as a thank you for doing the creative interview with her, and she is so talented. It is ridiculous. Remember, this is the beautiful lady that is pursuing art in her 60s. So I don't want to hear any excuses from anybody. All right, that's just a start. So now I have to change my setting. I have to change my views. And since now we have to see me lower, you'll probably see the two babies bopping around if they can't behave. That's Indy. Independence, and then Liberty is somewhere, so I think he's under the table, so hopefully he'll settle in there. Whew. Yeah, so I can't get on live with my laptop. I have to go buy an encoder, and I looked it used to be provided through Google Hangouts, but that is no longer an option, so we got to figure out what happened. Didn't find crochet until I was in my 40s. That's awesome, Kelly. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, you know, I picked up crochet in my, is it 30s? When did I get married? 28. So when I got married, that's when I like wanted to a hobby when I got married. So she does a bunch of billion things, and art right now is her thing. So go find that interview. I highly recommend that interview. That woman is so inspirational and so she is so connected to God, and I think she's a minister too. I think she went to school, seminary school too, and everything. She's done like everything, and she just hasn't stopped, you know. All right, so my train of thought is all different until I get my head. Ellie, you enjoyed the interview? That's awesome. Speaking of Ellie, I asked her to come join me, so I'm so glad that she was able to. So yeah, so that's got me thrown off a little bit, but now I'm resettled. My head, oh my God. When it comes to technology, you guys, does that make your head like want to explode? Because now all of a sudden my migraine is back. Hey Sarah. Oh, beautiful Vone. That's beautiful Vone didn't get a chance to shower this morning because she slept in. So this is bedhead Vone with glasses. Hold on. Oh, I'm so glad that I am able to see comments. When I turned 40, my oldest turned 20, and my youngest was 18 and didn't need me to be mom mode. So you got to be with yourself. Oh, and that's when you picked up. Oh, good. Oh, good. Savvy Skeins is here too. Allie is with Savvy Skeins. Ellen is with Senko Farms. And these are two beautiful ladies that have gifted me yarns so that I could create patterns using their yarns. So I shared pictures of Senko Farms natural yarns. And this is the pattern that I am creating with her bulky size 6 yarn, which I just learned. I'm hoping she chimes in here in the chat and shares like the process of doing natural yarns, because I've never learned it. But Savvy Skeins, I just got gifted this week that I'm so happy. I wanted to wait for a sunny day. It's been thunderstorming the past couple of days at my house, and so I didn't want to take pictures until I can get good lighting to share how beautiful her yarns are. But I told her that I would be checking it out. There goes. There's Ellie with Senko Farms, and Savvy Skeins just chimed in, and I think she's Allison. Am I correct? Savvy Skeins. So this is, I asked her for a charcoal, like a dark color, and then this is Optimum DK, and it's Abalone. Abalone is the color. I picked greens and blues because I think I'm going to make something Allie. That's right. See, I remember it. I'm so happy. Look at how gorgeous these are. So the sun finally came out today, Allie. So I will be sending pictures of your yarn. So can you guys see me okay in this live? It's gonna be weird because it looks like I'm looking at the camera is on the one extreme and I'm looking at the other extreme, and then it's gonna share a reflection of it. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna look even more distorted than I do before. And this is why people don't like going live. Watching from Arizona. It's 6:30 a.m. Awesome. Andrea. Andrea's ridiculous. You know how many things she makes? She's always sharing stuff in the Facebook group. I'm just always in awe of the things that you guys create like all week long. So I'm going to be making something beautiful with this. I'm not sure. I want, this yarn is so special. So she hand dyes these. Allie, maybe I'm trying to get Ellie to come on and do a creative interview with me so she can share all of her stories about her sheep and her lamb. And she was just sharing with me the story. This is Lila's coat, and she's a crossbreed, and she was an accident, and it feels so soft. It's like butter. It's like butter. It's like crocheting with butter through your hands. It's like who knew that wool could feel like silk. Bear with me. I'm going to restart my modem to. Okay, so she'll come back. Sarah Dawn will come back. So I'm going to be creating something beautiful with this. I'm not 100% positive what it is yet. And that's what I promised Allie. I was like, I need to see the yarn first. I'm going to feel the yarn. I'm going to play with the yarn. I'm going to try to use it. I'm going to test the stitches out. Because I wasn't sure what weight it was. And so now now that this is here, butter is good for you. Ellie just said, butter is good for you. Butter is so good for you. So none of that margarine chemical stuff, people. 100% butter all the way. If I wasn't lactose intolerant, like I would be drinking in butter. I would be drinking butter if I wasn't lactose intolerant, but I am. I mean, I think that's the Asian part in me. Although my brother was born here, and for some reason he loves milk, so maybe he can. But his baby is lactose intolerant. Huh? Just fun facts here. So for Allie's yarn with Savvy Skeins, now that I have the yarns here, I'm going to play with it. I'm going to figure out what beautiful creation I'm going to make with this. And then I will, oh good, Juniper says she can see me just fine. Awesome. So I will create something beautiful with it, and I will share it with you guys, and hopefully you guys can pick up the pattern and go get some yarn, all right, from Savvy Skeins. So this is going to be on the back burner right now for this week, because I want to pray over this, because this is such beautiful yarn that I want to make sure that whatever I create from it, it's going to do the dye justice. Look at how beautiful that is. And what I love about self-striping yarns and all that, and multiple color yarns, you let the yarn do the work. You don't need fancy stitches. You don't need anything. Oh, good. So your internet's good. You don't need fancy stitches. My number one tip for all knitters and crocheters is let the yarn do the work. I've done several videos on it, and that's because I want you guys to experiment with the different yarns and the colors, and working with natural and hand-dyed makers and creators. Like, this is my dream. This is my dream. I'm crocheting a dog mat while watching your live stream. Awesome. Speaking of crocheting, I will be continuing to do so. So I'm going to put Savvy Skeins in the back burner while I pray over that one. Meanwhile, I'm going to finish this pattern for Ellie. And so this is a size 6 bulky yarn, and I'm using an M and an N clover, and it just happened to be the biggest one I saw in my box, and so I started using it. And I wanted to do a stitch. Coincidentally, I have 3 patterns now in the works. So I have Allie's with Senko Farms, I have Allie with Savvy Skeins, and I'm in the process of working with Lauren in Forbidden Fibers. I still need to submit a pattern to her, but I did get a rough idea for a color block infinity scarf with a pocket. So, but she's a little bit more formal, which I love, because it teaches you different ways of how to submit patterns to yarn makers. And Savvy Skeins, I think I don't know, she's informal. Oh, call you Ellen because Allie gets confusing with Ellie. Ellie, does it sound like, am I enunciating it correctly? Ellie and Allie? I like Ellie because I like informal nicknames to familiar friends, instead of calling her Allison, instead of calling you Ellen. But I could change you to Ellen if I sound too close from Allie to Ellie. So listen, what was I gonna say? So between the three, and they've all requested crochet. I don't think Ellie May, my middle name is May. Get out. So you're Allie May and she's Ellie May. Now that is even crazier. That is even funnier. Oh my gosh. Allie May and Ellie May. What is the May is both of your middle names? What does May stand for? Is that farm life? Is that like is that old school middle name? I've never heard of. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. I'm Ellen. Ellen and Ellie. Ellie May and Ellie May. We're gonna be stuck at. May is a great grandmother's May. Oh. You know, I hear like a lot of people have their names May. So do they spell it with M-A-E instead of M-A-Y? That's interesting. Oh, I don't want to miss Kathy. Good morning, Kathy. I'm late because I can't figure out how to find. Dude, forget you figuring out how to find live YouTube stuff. I was late because I couldn't get onto live the normal way because YouTube changed their whole thing, and now I have to buy a program to go live. I can't use the free Google Hangouts. So I either have to, so I quickly jumped on my phone and prayed that the phone worked, and so the phone is updated. Kind of picked up when I went farmer. Yeah, I had a feeling May was kind of farm. I was just telling John that I absolutely love knowing a farmer. Can I just tell you, I absolutely love knowing a pocket. That's so handy. Yes, I have several scarves that have pockets. It's pretty insane. I mocked up for Forbidden Fibers that scarf, the color block with the pocket. I don't want to show it to you guys yet because I don't want to I want to show it off first with her yarns. And so with Forbidden Fibers yarns. So I have to submit a pattern ready for her and then request yarn to come so that I can try the yarns that I would need to do the pattern. So that's a totally formal way of submitting your patterns. And so she's amazing. I know, I didn't realize you guys are friends. I love that. Can I just tell you how much I love that, Allie? Is it Lauren? Is Lauren her name? I've only spoken to her a few times through Instagram, and she's in the Facebook group. And I love the name Forbidden Fibers too. because somebody had asked in the Facebook group why she called. Oh, Leanne, thank you so much. Leanne, I knew it was an L. Somebody had asked her how she came up with that name, and she had explained it all fancy ways, which was really good. But then I also said, well, Forbidden Fibers to me is because my husband's always forbidding me to buy more yarn, and I'm constantly having to sneak it in because he can't understand that some yarns aren't meant to be crocheted, knit and crocheted with. They are just meant to sit beautifully in the cubicle so that you just stare at them. And what I don't want, the reason why I'm coming on here live and sharing this project with you guys, because this is so gorgeous as is, and I don't want the enemy to let me just sit and stare at this and never create something beautiful out of it. So that's why I'm coming on here and holding myself accountable and sharing with you guys what I intend to do with these, and then follow through on it because I went live to chat about it. Does that make sense? And so, because when I get beautiful, expensive yarn, I just want to let it sit, and just because I'm so afraid to create with it, and I don't want to do that with this. And so, speaking of sitting forever, finally done. The crochet along, the crochet sock along there, that the last two lies was about. So I did it with the green, and that green didn't work out well. So I knew it wasn't going to fit. So then I was like, all right, let me try a different yarn and see if I wanted to make it. I thought that if I made it pretty, then I would want to finish it, and then I did. And I got about this part, and I got about this part, right? And I realized it ain't gonna fit. It wouldn't fit my giant feet. John was right. He told me. He's like, you have giant feet. It'll never fit. And I couldn't even get it in. So I redid it again, and I increased by 2 stitches, which totals out to 4 stitches when you increase both sides. And so I ended up with 32 instead of 28. And as I'm doing, I'm like, oh, that's pretty big. I can get it. And then I even put it up against my socks, that I normally wear, and I was like, okay, this will be good. Finished it all out, got it all done, got the cuffs in there, all fancy out with my post stitching, and then put it on. Son of a beep, does not fit. There's no stretch to it. There's no stretch. Unlike my regular socks, the yarn is stretchy. So I was like, I guess I'm gifting this to my model. So the tip, if you guys are using this pattern, so do you see where that yarn increases? So that's the inside of the one, and then to do on the other side, see where the yarn increases on the other side so that they both like face inward. you just go in the round on the opposite direction when you go in to increase. So you start your, whatever way you start, you just start the opposite, and then all of a sudden you have your inseams the correct way. That's just a tip. So yeah, so I'm gonna do it again in the future when I'm done with my other projects, and then I'll try it again. And I think maybe what I'll try to do is get real sock yarn so that there is some stretch to it. I'm hoping sock yarn has stretch. I've never bought sock yarn. I've never used it, so I don't know what it entails, but I'm hoping there's stretch to it. And I know that I promised that I will be doing some a knit along socks, and I will be. And for some reason I can't see the running comments. You can't see it. I'm on the phone right now, so I can see your comments. I don't know if it's in your settings. It's a totally different workup right now. Oh, so you guys can't see comments? Let me know if any of you guys can see comments. So through Google Hangout. Oh yeah, no, I can. You can see comments. I'm just gonna pause for a second and make sure that you guys can see comments. Can see off and on. I can see comments. Awesome. Okay, so you do have the ability to see comments. So if you can't see comments, then it's in your settings that you have to fix. You probably didn't have to do it before because through Google Hangouts, I was able, like, everything was automatic, and now I'm not on my laptop because it's no longer available. I just found out this morning as I panicked and was like calling my husband down here going, technology. And then I said, and then it's asking for encoders. I'm like, what the heck is an encoder? And then he's like, well, follow the directions and see what they tell you. And then it's $150 on sale to buy a program to go live when I used to be able to do it for free. So until then, here I am stuck. I'm coming up to about the fancy point where I'm going to show you well, I could show it to you guys since you guys are sneak peekers into to joining me live, and that's the benefit of watching these live videos, right? Joining us live. So I'm going to do something different that that will make this pattern special. So Ellen had asked me if I thought that this stitch would be great with her natural yarns. Hi Linda, did I say hi to you yet? Awesome. Notice the video is clear. I can see much better. You know what it is? Because it's the high definition phone that you can see it. My laptop is an older laptop, and so that Toshiba camera that's inside the laptop is not as clear. And I always joke with my husband that I said I should get one of those fancy webcams so that people can see clear, especially when I do the creative interviews and the people that I'm chatting with have like super high def cameras and their picture is so clear and beautiful and mine is all blurry and old. And I thought, you know what? Sometimes the blurry is just fine. Sometimes a little blurry in life is better than crystal clear high definition. So I settled with the fact that my camera was perfectly fine. But yes, in this one it is a lot clearer, which basically means everything pops up. And so but so I could sit there and not use the excuse of because I don't have the fanciest computer or the fanciest working with Instagram. Last page, you started a YouTube channel. I was creating, then go with it. Wait, I had some trouble working on my Instagram and Facebook page last night. You started a YouTube channel. I was creating them to go with. Oh, that's cool. So maybe they did something. I mean, Google owns YouTube, so I can't figure out why they would get rid of Google Hangouts, other than the fact that they don't want us to use it for free. I'm not sure, unless they want to figure out how to. Your volume is always good. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I think the Toshiba laptop that I have has good volume because I always thought that my volume was good. I don't have any extra mics with that, but the camera is a slight blur. There's a slight blurriness to it, but it worked out in my favor, I thought. So yeah, so I could use that excuse to say, well, then I'm not going to go live and I'm not going to go because I don't have the best equipment yet. But isn't that what we always do? We always create excuses to stop us from doing stuff. So I just learned to embrace the fact that I didn't have the best technology, but I went with it anyways. And yes, wait, where am I going? And all the techie stuff is so confusing. It's so confusing. Hey Tammy, oh my gosh, all my favorites have joined me. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on live and chatting with me. I absolutely love these Saturday mornings with you guys. I absolutely love it. Like, this is my dream, to wake up on Saturday morning and hang out with my crafty friends and chat about what's going on. You know what I mean? About what we're doing, what are the latest things. Yes, Aaron, we are artists. We're not tech. We're not. Technology is totally different. Totally different. But that's why it's good to be amongst friends so that we can commiserate in the difficulties together, right? It's evening, but in my end. Oh, where are you? I think you said that last time. Did you say you were like midnight or something when you're joining me on these 9 a.m. lives? Where are you? Are you that you're all the way over there? So, um, so I'm, so oh, so Ellen asked me, did I create this stitch for her thing? Did I create it? And the answer is no. And I wanted to cover this topic slightly on it, and I'm hoping it gets. I'm hoping my wording comes out the way that I intend it to in my head, because I'm going to be talking about a slightly controversial topic, but you guys are new to me. A lot of you are new to me, and so I want to express this slightly controversial topic to you. So she asked me, "Did you create the stitch for this?" And I said, "No. It's called the basket weave, or at least at the time. I don't know. There are all billions. There are billions of names for it. Right? I call it the basket weave because I think I learned it as a basket weave, and because it looks like a basket. See, it looks like a basket weave, and so no, Indy, you got to calm down. I don't have my water spray to spray him to give. So where are you? Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're close to midnight, and where's that? Oh, Australia. That's right. I do know that. I feel like you answered that to me before. Okay, Indy, you need to get away. Okay, good. He's down. Because I was like, I don't want him hanging out. I don't want him hanging out on this beautiful cream natural bulky scarf that I'm making. So I'm gonna do about a fancy point right here. So I don't want to wait. It's not the change yet, so I don't want to mess this part up. It's the only part that that gets a little technical, and then after that it's a free for all, and then I could just mindlessly do it. So she asked me, did I create it? And I said, no, it's a basket weave. It's I learned it years ago, and I figured it would be great for this. And I did this scarf one time, and so that's what I wanted to talk about. So knit and crochet is a million-year-old sport. Million-year-old. It's been around since before, I think, Christ. Before Jesus Christ. I think it's been around forever, right? It's been around for a very long time. In 2019, that's the beautiful year we are, 2019, from the year of our Lord's birth, right? Even though people who don't believe in Jesus Christ, I always find it fascinating because 2019, we base our calendar off of 2019 from what? From the year of our Lord. Before Christ, after Christ. Interesting, right? But here we are in 2019. In the year 2019, there is nothing in the knit and crochet world that has not been done before. So, the controversial topic of copy and copywriting and copy and all that stuff and people who invent things, I'm always telling everybody, I'm like, there is nothing new. There's nothing that hasn't been done before in the knit and crochet world. There's nothing. Everything that we do has been done before. The only thing that makes it different is what we do, what these hands and this mind and this heart can produce on this item right now. That is what makes it a creation. That's what makes it brand new. And so I might get some slack for it because, but that's what I want to always say, because there are people that come on and they're like, oh, I invented it. I'm like, no, you didn't invent it. You might have, like, it's been done before, one way or another. The combinations are different. The yarns are different. The colors that you create are different. The hook sizes that you do are different. Your hand structures are different. Your weaves are different. Everything else has the ability to create, and that's all authentic to you. That cannot be duplicated. That cannot be, that is what makes it original, and everybody is unique. So, I'm a big time individualist. I don't like mass lumps of group of sums of anything. I hate that. I hate that. That's the one reason why you got on my world, is because I put out a Ravelry video that had a policy that said, this is a blanket, what I mean, a blank statement as of one group, and pin everybody into a pigeonhole. And I hate that, because I'm an individualist. I love the fact that we are all autonomous beings, and anybody that that's the one thing I always remind everybody, is that we are all autonomous beings. We are responsible for our outcomes. We ourselves have soul. I just heard we ourselves have complete control of ourselves. We all do. That's, God gave us free will. Anything else, like, he gave us free will. You know what I mean? He could have created us any other way, but he gave us free will so that we can be ourselves, whichever way that is. So, I heard an awesome speech from Rachel Hollis yesterday. She said something about validating. If you're seeking validation from the outside world, you will never be filled. You will never be fulfilled, because to seek validation from a broken world, you will never feel whole. And I just thought, that is so true. How often are we sitting through life trying to please everybody, or trying to make us feel better by validating who we are through other people's opinions of us? You know what I mean? And it just fascinates me. I'm like, so that's why, like, we feel bad when other people don't like us, and then we're like, why don't they like us? You know what I mean? And then we feel bad, so there must be something wrong with us. To seek validation from the outside world, from a broken world, you will never be filled. So the only validation that I seek from is my Lord and Savior. That's it. Jesus is the person that I live to please. And as long as I'm doing right by his eyes, I'm doing right. Period. And that's it. So when I heard that line, I was just like, I don't know where I'm at. I'm at a weird tangent right now. But so I wanted to share my thought about that. And so I'm like, what makes it unique and special is what we choose to do and create from it, from what we're given. So did I invent this stitch? No, I did not invent the stitch. Now, did I think to use this stitch from what I learned from my 10, 12, 15 years of being a master crocheter, to think that this is going to be beautiful in this yarn? That's all me. Did I want to use this size hook? That's all me. The number, he loves us more than we ever know. Amen. Amen, Allie. So did the number of stitches to cast on, or to chain, to do the number of the size that I want for this gauge, for this width of my scarf, that's me. That's, you know what I mean? I can choose to do 3 blocks instead of 5, and how many rows, that's me. Everything else is me. And so when I create my pattern, when I write this pattern up, I'm deciding on, see, this is the other thing. Have you guys bought any of my patterns? I have 2 patterns out right now. It's called Esther and Ruth. let me see if I have Ruth sitting out or Esther sitting out. I don't know if I have either one of them sitting over there. I think they're both in bins. So what I do is I don't create, this is my writing book. This is my sketchbook that I got on sale at Hobby Lobby that I put, look at these beautiful stickers of the Lord and creations and faith, and I covered it all up so that I would be inspired, so that I would want to pick up this sketchbook and create from it. And so he leads me besides quiet waters, he restores my soul. Psalms 23:3. I love that one. So I do that to inspire me to create. And that's why this is my sketchbook. So this is just a brand new thing that I just did. And so I'm writing the pattern down. I've never written patterns that tell me exactly what rows and so to do what, because my patterns, I have Ruth, and they show how to be creative. I show you, they're more like pattern templates, and I'm debating on making this a pattern template as opposed to an actual pattern for the scarf. Because I think I want to stick with that theory. I think that's what I want to be different than anybody else as a pattern designer. I don't want to, I never did. You know how I don't like to follow patterns to begin with. What I like to use patterns for is to learn stitches, to learn techniques, to learn different ways to do something, and then I create on my own. I do my own thing. And there's a lot of makers that are very pigeonholed into, like, they want to follow the rules and follow the directions, and then they're afraid to try something different, and then they get upset when it doesn't work out perfectly to the way that they do. That's what drew me to you and with your love of Violet. Oh, hey Bonnie, thank you. Thank you, Jesus, right? So I think I want to stay true to the way I want to create patterns, in a way where I show you how to, where you learn a technique, and then I want to show you how to expand it or rein it in to suit what you want to do with it. So I think I'm going to stay true with that same thing for this, for this pattern, and for Allie's Savvy Skeins, which is going to be difficult. This is I think this is why I'm going to pray over this one a bit, because for something this unique, can you imagine the potential of how every creation that you do will be different? Because look at the yarn striations that's going to come out of there. You'll never get a repeat. You'll never get a duplicate. It will, everything you make with her yarns will always be one of a kind. You know, which is beautiful, which is absolutely beautiful. Because you know my tagline is dare to be original, and that's why I did it that way. Is because I want to give people confidence. I want to share with people how they can gain confidence in being original, and that they don't have to worry about feeling like they're a copycat. Okay, I'm at my split point, so I want to do something different. So this is just a regular basket weave, and it's front post and back posts, 5 front posts and 5 back posts for 3 rows, I think is the math that I ended up writing down on here. But the point in this one, which I want to show you, I don't have any because I only did one a long time ago, and I sold that scarf in my Etsy shop. And so what this scarf is going to do is have a split, like a slit shawl. Those colors would look great on you. A shawl. Yeah, I'm considering, I think I'm going to try, I do want to do a shawl. Allie, so 3 skeins at 250 yards, that should yield a pretty big, right? That should yield a pretty big shawl if I work it up, right? And the funny thing is I knit also, but these 3 patterns that I'm working on now are all crochet. I just thought about it. I'm like, they're all crochet. I don't have one knit, a lacy shawl. I don't have one knit project in the works besides my knit sock along that I promise you guys that I will do, and I'm putting off for a couple of weeks. And I know what you're thinking. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Ellie, about a butterfly, but let's dive a little bit more about. That's why I wanted to come live and share with you guys this, because I wanted some ideas and what you guys think would be beautiful for that. Um, so what is the butterfly? Is that the wing? You know, like, so it's like a triangle shawl. Is that what you mean by that? Which I could totally do. Um, what was I saying? Oh, hold on. Whoa, 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 fancy, fancy. So to create this the slit part, yes, the wings, awesome. So to create the slit part, I want to. I'm gonna end here, and I'm gonna end it and go straight up, as if it's the end. And so I don't want to miss this part up. So I want to keep talking. And then yeah. So when now what makes it a copyright infringement, this is where, if you guys sit there and either take somebody's pattern and type it up as your own, that's copyright. That's plagiarism. That's wrong. That's illegal. Don't do that. If you do something and you change it and you work something completely different, then, and you made it your own, then that's not copyright. That is you being original, and you learning something and creating something, and you being original and taking the skills that you have and applied it in your own way. And that's you being unique, and that's not copyright. So it's always a finicky, because I remember I did a YouTube live inside my mastermind that I had a couple of years ago. It's the one where we spent an intimate year together. There was 13 of us, and all I did was ask them to pay $100 to spend the year with me, so that I created a Facebook group, and that's how I wrote that pattern, that my first ebook, that Handmade Creative Mastermind. I wrote that ebook so that I could say that I sold it for that Facebook group, but basically it was $100 for the year for me to spend inside that Facebook group, to be a part of it. And the reason why I did that was because I was basically going live every single day or every other day inside that Facebook group, trying to help everybody, and we were all working together to be handmade solopreneurs, that we were all like trying to work together. It was a mastermind. And so, and the reason why I charged that was because it's thousands of dollars, thousands and tens of thousands of dollars to join any mastermind. And I knew that I couldn't afford anything like that. I knew that people that are new didn't want that, couldn't afford anything. So I was like, so why not create it? And the reason I even asked for that little nominal fee, because I wanted exactly 100, because I wanted enough to be that it would have been worth an investment for them to want to join and be a part of that group for the year, to show that they're serious about being a part of that group for the year. And at the same time, it wasn't going to make me rich or anything out of it. All it was just to commit them to spending the year to better themselves in their online shop, was the purpose of that, while learning from me. And at the time, I was a part of the Conquer Club. I had taken thousands of dollars of B school, so to learn about marketing. So I had a lot of knowledge that I wanted to share, and that was the point of creating that. So I created the ebook to say that I sold something. I'm a little backed up on the thing. So the reason why I shared it at the time, are you guys familiar with designs by Vanessa Fong? You know, that beautiful, I think she's Laos. I think she's Laos, because I thought she was Chinese for a while, but I think her husband and her kids are Chinese, or part Chinese. And I think she's Laos, because we found out that we were in the same refugee camp for 4 years. She was in the same refugee camp that I was in when we both escaped our communist country, which is ridiculous. Vanessa, I knew her when I did 1,000. She hit 1,000 followers on Instagram. She's in the Facebook group. I love bragging that I know her, because she's like the most famous person I know. She's the most famous person I know, and I knew her when she had 1,000 subscribers on Instagram. She had 1,000 followers, and she did a big giveaway, and she like, and I would my scarf was in her giveaway when she hit 1,000 followers. 4 years later, she's at 41,000 followers for on Instagram. Is that not ridiculous? Like, I literally watched her blow up overnight. But she'll always be Vanessa to me. Let me see. I run back and check to make sure the Fiera feet lady is good to go back soon. Oh. Is it just me, or does everyone hear knocking in the background? What it is Indy. Do you hear it now? That's because Indy was cleaning his nails. So he was biting his nails, and that's the noise that you were hearing. And that's the phone. This phone picks up everything. It's high definition, and it's probably high definition in sound too. Chewing on bones or hard toy. That's a good guess, Aaron. You're right. It's Indy underneath my feet, like biting his nails right now. That's what he's doing. He's self grooming, which is good because it saves me money. So yeah, that's what that noise is. That's him chewing on his nails. Because so it's a big house that we live in, but for some reason, every time I'm sitting in the studio and I do go live or I go on camera, this kid is always under my feet. He's always under my feet doing something. So yeah, that's what you hear. That's a good guess, Aaron. So what was I talking about? Oh, so Vanessa, the reason why I brought her up. So Vanessa at the time, he loves you. Oh, thank you. You think so, huh? I wish he'd love John a lot more at these times. Although he does. When John's working upstairs, he'll go and hide. John works from home and so when I'm at work, and he'll go and hide under his desk and play around under there when John's working on his computer too. So it really is not just one-sided. But it's probably because I'm talking on the phone, so he thinks that there's activity here. So he thinks that I'm doing something. So the reason why I brought Vanessa up was at the time she was, I would say she's like 20,000 followers at the time. So well, at the halfway point of her fame, right? At the height of her fame, 20,000 followers, she started getting ganged up on by a bunch of Instagram people saying that there's a big account that's copying from me, and because she has a big account, I can't say anything, and she's copying me. And not one, but 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 more accounts were standing up and attacking Vanessa because she was copying them. And I was like, so there's a post way in the down in my Instagram feed. You'll see, like, it looks like she's naked, but she's not. She's a photographer. So like, she on her day job is a photographer, and then her side hustle was her knit and crochet, which I now think is her primary, and I think her photography is now her side hustle. But so she's living the dream life. So she so there were like 4 or 5 accounts at the time attacking her for saying that she was copying them, and because she was a big account, they couldn't say anything, so they all ganged up together to attack her, and it nearly broke her for a split second. And so I went on live in my mastermind at the time to respond to that situation. I wish I could find that footage. I would love to air it live one day and really speak my mind about that, the point of the fact that knit and crochet is a 1,000,000-year-old sport. It's 1,000,000 years old. There's nothing that we've invented. Now, what had happened, I think at the time, we're doing a bunch of, that's like me bringing up this basket weave. So I haven't done a basket weave in 4 years, since my one scarf that I've done. But now, working with Ellen's yarn, I'm going to bring this basket weave back to work with her Lila's crossbreed wool, right? So I'm going to bring this stitch back, right? And make it I'm going to put out a pattern to show you how to make this scarf. I can't get to the fancy part, which when I'm all done, hopefully by next week, actually I know by next week's live, you will see the finished product of this and what makes this special, what makes this scarf unique to me, to you, because I didn't invent this technique. I spun it so that it would work for how great the scarf is going to be when it's all done. I can't say it to you because until I show it to you. Until I show it to you, then you'll understand what I'm talking about, what makes it different than your average scarf. And so I wanted to use that technique with this basket weave. So I'm going to be talking a lot about this basket weave. I'm going to show you different ways to make a basket weave. This happens to be a double crochet in front and back post crisscrossing, right? For a couple rows, back and forth, back post, front post. And it does this wavy effect, right? And then it gives you the ridges and everything. You could do it with half double crochets. You could do it with single crochets. You can do the basket weave. You can't do it with a slip stitch. You can do it with triple crochet. You can do it with all kinds of different things. Technique, the general technique is the same. So I'm going to talk about the basket weave a lot. Now, say that there's another account. There's billions of people in this world, billions of Instagram accounts. Somebody else is doing a basket weave. Somebody maybe even started it 2 weeks ago. And now I'm going live talking about basket weave. And in the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months, when I really promote this pattern and promote this, stitch and everything, an idea, say that other person is going to say, this girl copied them because she saw me. I'll be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm in my world, in my lane, doing my thing for my beautiful friend who gifted me yarn to try and create something beautiful from her natural wool yarn, right? I'm going to be like, what are you talking about? I have no idea who this person is. Now, that is what happened with Vanessa. So she learns stitches. She's got books and 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 books. I have a whole, so sorry, my portrait. I have a whole cabinet down there of all, see all that? Both sides, knit and crochet books, techniques, magazines, articles, all kinds of stuff. And I donated a bunch too. I gifted a bunch to different people because we have online now. So if you want to learn a stitch, I'm barely flipping through those books anymore. Hey, no, calm down. I didn't mean to get them all worked up. Yes, just like us, crochet is unique to us. Yes, we're the ones that's spinning it. Exactly. So they all ganged up on her, and Indy, you've got to calm down. So they all ganged up on her to call her a copycat and everything. And she's like, I have no idea who these people are, And so she did a photograph of her. It looks like she's naked, but she's really not. She's just bent over and has a tank top, so you couldn't see. All you see is arms and legs and 2 knitting needles, basically saying that they've stripped her. And they're accusing her of something that she has no control over, and the fact that she spends days and days and days. She puts out, how she gained all those. She puts out like 10 new posts a day, 10 new photos a day, constantly sharing new. She specializes in hat patterns, so she's knocking out new hat patterns once a week, and she has to keep learning new stitches, learning new techniques, and sharing them and creating patterns from them, right? So that means she's constantly learning new stuff. So coincidentally, if she's learning something that somebody else has done, that's what happened. So then they accused her of copywriting. And I'm like, what the heck? It's just crazy. Hey, Annie. Annie, that was a beautiful comment you gave me on YouTube this week. Are you brand new to me, or I feel like I've known you for several weeks? So yeah, that was it. What's her Instagram? It's Designs by Vanessa. I'm surprised. Oh, so there is a knit and crocheter that does not know who Vanessa is. I always wonder. I feel like the whole world knows who Designs by Vanessa. What is wrong with people ganging up on one? Seems to happen more and more. It's so ridiculous. It really is. It really, really is. I really hate. I was bullied when I was a kid. I was bullied when I was a kid, and I hated it. And all because of how I looked. All because of how I looked. Because I was, back in the day when when it was in the 80s, and you're moved here, and what made me different was I was Asian, so they used to call me Oriental and Chinese and Chinks and all kinds of derogatory terms. And I'd be like, I'm none of those. They're not even my country. I was like, I'm from Laos, which is totally different. It's a totally different country. But and I don't speak that language. I don't do anything. But I was bullied on so many levels. And I don't want to even get back into that world, but I don't like it. And that's why to judge somebody based on their looks, oh, that's a pet peeve of mine, like you would not believe. The Because I looked that way, then I couldn't be smart. I couldn't know the language, and then I like hustled to learn English because like I said, I didn't want to sit in the back of the classroom crying every day because I didn't know the language. So I had to learn the language, and then I learned it, and I got to be so great at it, and I got straight A's from it. But then at the time, I was also in the English second language was the program because it was my second language, and so they would diminish. I remember the kids diminishing. Oh, she got an A, but it's in the English second language, so it couldn't be. It's not that great. It's like a secondary A almost. So then I had to learn and get out of that English second language program because I didn't need it anymore. And then I started getting straight A's into in the regular classes, and then I was an honor student in regular classes, and then I was taking AP Calc in high school. And it's funny because here we are, and see what I'm talking about, seeking validation from a broken outside world. You know what I mean? You will never be happy. You will constantly be running your wheels like a rat race. That's what I was doing, seeking validation, you know what I mean, from a broken outside world, trying to please everybody and trying to prove to everybody that I was smart, that I wasn't dumb because of how I looked. Isn't that crazy? I was like, I don't even know why I'm here. How do we even get on this topic? It's many of those who would get bullied. I know, me too. We're always joking. I'm always telling John, I'm always like, uh, I'm always defending the underdog. I don't know why. It's not that I defend the underdog. I always like to, as a third party, if I'm sitting in the middle of any situation, and I try to do it even my own situation, is I try to look at it from a different perspective. And then I'm wondering how, always wondering how to see it from another point of view. And even if it's a point of view that I don't like, I try to look at it from another point of view and learn something from that, because everybody does something for a reason. There's a reason for everything, and nothing is coincidental. So it would behoove me to try to figure it out so that I wouldn't make the same mistake, you know. So I'm at the fourth stitch. I want to create a back. So it looks like it's going to be two sets of squares on this split while I'm working on here. Yeah, so yeah, bullying is not fun. I don't like that. So when I saw them doing that to her, it just made me want to go, and I did that live video on that, and talking about copyright and all that stuff. And I said, and the greater picture of it all is when you're in the middle of those situations, it keeps you from creating. And that's what the enemy loves to do. He loves utter chaos. He loves to stir the pot, because if you guys are distracted by that, you know, if you guys are distracted by the current situation, then you're not creating. Just like me in Ravelry for 3 weeks that I wasn't creating. But in truth, I wasn't creating way before Ravelry. Way before it. If anything, Ravelry woke me up from it. My son thinks it's cool. You're knitting with Lila. Tell your son that I think Lila is like the craziest. This is such a soft yarn. It is velvet. I had no idea wool was this. I don't think I bought wool one time from Michael's at the time, which I no longer shop at Michael's or AC Moore's or Joann's. I only shop at Hobby Lobby now. So if you guys are just wondering, but I got wool yarn at Michael's one time, and I used it, but it was so rough, and I just thought it gave me a bad impression of wool. And I just thought, that wool was rough, but this is like, it's like butter. It's so silky. How it's crazy how soft this yarn is. And that's what I messaged her this morning. I was like, this Lila, is Lila a name from the Bible? Ellen, do you know what Lila is from? Because my two patterns, Esther and Ruth, were from the Bible, and I want all my patterns to be named by names from the Bible. I had that calling from day one when I was creating a pattern. I thought, what can I do to show God that I am spreading his word with my work? And I thought the smartest way at the time was, the clever way at the time was to name all my patterns from names from the Bible. If anything, it gets people talking and thinking about, why did she name it that? And what, you know what I mean? And at the time I had watched Esther's story and I had watched Ruth's story. They were like shows that I think John found somewhere, you know what I mean? And those stories were amazing. Like the movies, they were like old movies on Esther and Ruth, and I loved it. And I think Ruth was in a devotion at church at the time, and so we were talking about her story and everything. So I thought those are two great names to start off with. So is Lila a name from the Bible? And if not, is Ellen a name from the Bible? Because one, I still have to come up with a name for this pattern that I'm working on. Juniper, yet you have become a more beautiful person because you never let it rule your life. I suffer from anxiety, sadly, and I always still try to stand up for those who can't, or they feel weak. I'm going to come back to that thought for a minute, Sarah. Dawn Sarah, wow, true. The enemy wants to distract you. So true. Oh, he's so great at distractions. You have no idea. Find joy in Jesus, others, yourself. Don't let people steal your joy. Amen. Amen, Annie. He's grinning ear to ear. Oh, good. That's so awesome. Yes, Annie. No, man, it won't be. Well, it could be, but it wasn't intentional. Look it up. No, it's not. I'll look it up before I make it official. Before I make this. If Lila is in the Bible, that would be fantastic. And if not, well, it could be, but it wasn't intentional. Oh, okay, that's what you're saying. If it is, then we're going to use it, then it's meant to be. And if it isn't, we'll come up with something close to it or representative of it that keeps it. But this wool is phenomenal. So Ellen, do you have a way to sell your yarns right now? Are you like, I know that Ellen, once she's done with vacation, we promised that we were going to get together and so talk about how she can start her online shop to get more of her beautiful yarn out to the world. And so I don't know if Ellen is selling yet or she's just selling local right now. And then we're going to figure out a way to help her market and sell it globally. And so once we do that, so if you are selling it, she's called Scaff Eve's Weave, as in Adam and Eve. Ooh, Eve's Weave as in Adam and Eve. Ooh, that's interesting. I'm gonna pin that. I'm gonna pin that thought. I have an Etsy shop. It's inactive. Ellie has an Etsy shop and it's inactive. We're gonna, within the next couple of weeks, Ellen, we're gonna figure out a way to get that active, because I am. You have sold through via Messenger, so if you guys are interested in this yarn, go find her on Messenger, Facebook Messenger, or Instagram, and it's Senko Farms on Instagram, and Senko Farms and Facebook too, right? So, what was? I have my pen in my Eve's Weaves, Eve's Weave. Interesting. I want to, so I listed, I had a list of names. You can do it, Ellie. Yes, you can. Oh my gosh, if I can do Etsy, so can you. Everybody can. We can have an Etsy day if you guys would like. I would in the old way, I could share it I could share you the screenshot from my laptop, but not from my phone anymore because, not until I figure out what the heck happened to YouTube. So yeah, what was I talking about? Did I finish my thought on Vanessa? Yes, I did. And so that's why, so I went and I shared a post from her and defending her and helping her out with that. And I know that she messaged me and was like, she thanked me so much because she had so many people like attacking her and basically calling her uncreative because calling her a copycat. And I was just like, you're anything but that. You're anything. Oh, Andrew, you want an Etsy day? Awesome. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah. Oh, see, speaking of, Ali, Savvy Skeins has over 10,000 followers, and I said to John, I said, this lady has a massive Instagram account, a massive Instagram account. I was like, I need to do a beautiful pattern for her. I'm so glad you joined us. You guys check out her Instagram feed too. How long have you been doing this, Allie? How long have you been dyeing yarn? I'm always curious when I see people who are pursuing their creative ventures. I'm always loving to find out how long they've been doing something. Inspiring. Oh, I have a tendency to do that. Inspire or, or push. Leah is biblical. Jacob was tricked into marrying Leah instead of her sister Rachel. Yes, that's right. I'm thinking of selling my creations on my Instagram. Is that a good move? Yeah, that's a good move. This is the thing, Sarah. John just messaged me a report. He found an article, so hopefully we can figure it out what happened. You cannot find Lila. Okay. For 4 or 5 years. Oh my gosh, you started Savvy Skeins 4 or 5 years ago, the same time that I started Vone Knits. At the time, it's now Vone Kevitz, because the Chinese stole my name. I lost my comments. Oh, there it is. That's awesome. Well, good for you. You've been making, so is this now your full-time venture? Like, I absolutely, like, you know that this has been years in the making. I have a big testimony. Ooh, share. What does that mean? Etsy has also been inactive. Aaron never sold anything. Aaron, Ellie, and Andrea. We'll just talk, and then and even let me respond to Sarah Dawn for a second. Anything you do to sell, do it. Try it. I always say, if you want to try something, the answer is always yes. If you have something in your heart, an idea in your mind that you think might be a good thought, try it. Try it. Seriously, if you're not committing a law or a crime, try it. The only reason why you wouldn't is because that's the enemy telling you all the different ways that it won't work, all the different ways that you will look foolish, all the different ways that people will judge you for. That is the enemy distracting you and keeping you from trying something new. And a lot of it, he uses fear in a way. I want to try some of Ellie's yarn. Ellie, you should. That's exactly why when you messaged me, Allie from Savvy Skeins, and Ellen had messaged me that she had natural yarn, and I said, what I want to do is I want to create a pattern using just her undyed yarn. Just her, raw from the farm to the spinner to whatever they do in their fancy yarn world. And I wanted to create something in the natural form and show the beauty from that world. But I also said to her, I said, I'm knowing all these new handmade dyers that's coming into my world, like Forbidden Fibers. and Savvy Skeins, and I was like, I would love to connect you with them, and they could definitely need to source a natural fibers. And when you want a handmade dyer to be sourcing from a farmer, you know what I mean, that you knew, especially God's children who are, you know what I mean, who are creating for his glory, like, wouldn't that be a magical world to get you guys all together and doing that? And so Savvy Skeins, this quote, I want to try some of Ellie's yarn, is just beautiful. I love that. I want to like highlight that comment because that's exactly what I've been praying for. Because I was like, maybe Lord, maybe the two of them can get together and make some magic together, and that's why I wanted to, and that's exactly what I was dreaming for. Oh, missed half of it. That's all right. You can come back. The glitches should be in the playback. Yeah, the glitches won't be in the playback. I don't have a good source for bulky weight. Well, then let me highly recommend the size 6 bulky weight of Lila to you. And Ellen said that Lila was a mistake, and she's not even like her softest yarn. I was like, can wool actually be even softer and silkier than this mistake? This mistake Lila, who, by the way, even though she was a mistake and not intended by you, Ellen, look at the beauty that came out of her. And isn't that the point of when we talk about abortions? You know, that nice topic of mistakes and not follow throughs. And then can you imagine like the beautiful creations that you would have stopped, you know, that could have came from mistakes? Do you know how much beauty comes from mistakes? You know how much beauty comes from accidents, and how much amazement comes from John? So in my show description last week, I had mentioned that John started a podcast. It's a Christian podcast, and he basically goes through Christian articles and talks about the relevant news that news doesn't talk about, like that media doesn't talk about. And he just put out his 4th episode, and it was on abortion this week. And I'm gonna put the link in the. It's called "I'm Just a Dude" is the name of the podcast, and he talked, and I just listened to it, and it was so good, the topic that he had about abortion. And one of them, he shared a testimony from a lady that was, you know, the abortion people, I'm going to put this down because I need to concentrate. The lady that was, the abortion people, they always use the pro-choice advocates always like to talk about what about the rape victims? Why won't you let a rape victim like abort? Couldn't that be the right reason for it? And she looks like Yoda. Oh my God, Yoda's awesome. What are you talking about? I have to find her picture and send it to me, because I would definitely love to share her Lila's picture with the yarn when we start promoting her wool. That's a great idea. Ellen. This is the great thing about sourcing natural, like from handmade people. Like, you can put faces to names. You know what I mean? You could put the beauty behind the makers. You know what I mean? The face to the creations that makes these beautiful things. You know, ordinary women doing extraordinary things. This is what it looks like. You know, so they always talk about rape victims and wouldn't that be the right time to abort? And the one lady's testimony was her mom decided to keep her. And so every time every time people use that excuse, so, well, what if they were raped? Why would you force them to have the baby, to follow through on it from such a horrific crime? And this lady's testimony, because her mom chose, I'm going to let him out because he's decided he's got to go. Hold on. He won't stop. You know what's funny is Liberty's sitting there all patiently because he's the adult dog. So he's like, I'm going to let the baby cry cry for me, but I'm gonna jump out with him. Because it's almost as if Liberty was telepathically telling Indy to make all the noise so mommy will let us out. That's what I've learned about these adult dogs. But just put it down so she had to pull. Wait, sorry. Oh my God, I had to pull it. Wow, that's so awesome. So how old is Lila, Ellen? How old is Lila? So this lady was talking about, she was saying that every time she hears about that, anytime they use that excuse about if they're raped, can they abort? And she's like, that's me. That means that if somebody they could end my life. They could have killed me. I wouldn't be here if my mama didn't have me, and she was a rape victim. And it blows my mind. I'm like, so if the fathers, when is it okay in life that we punish the children for the father's crimes? You know what I mean? In what culture, in what in what country is it okay to punish a child for the crime of the parent? Never. It's never okay. Lila's 3. That's awesome. It's never okay. So why is it okay to murder for the crime when life sentence for a rape, like for so how many years in jail do you get for raping somebody? What is the crime? Like, what is the sentence for? It's not the death penalty. The dad wouldn't even get the death penalty. You know what I mean? For raping somebody, from doing that horrific crime. So we want the death penalty for the child? That's okay? Mind blowing. Right? And that's their biggest argument. That is their strongest argument. Pro-choice will tell you that is their strongest argument for abortion. Is they always use that rape victim as it, and then it's okay. And you wouldn't even punish the raper with a life sentence, or you wouldn't even punish a rape. I don't even think you would punish a raper for a life sentence. I think a one-time raper would not even get how many years in jail. He wouldn't even get a lifetime sentence, let alone the death penalty. But yet you're gonna murder the child and give her a death sentence, or give him a death sentence because of the crime of the father. I was like, it makes no sense. But my husband's podcast talks about that, and so if you guys want to hear it, I'll leave the link in the show description later, once I get it all situated. But I just thought that was an interesting topic, and I'm so glad that he shared that in the podcast too. This is why I always encourage him to do a podcast and to share and to speak his mind and his thoughts, because he is gifted in so many ways. I think the Lord gave him a gift that he's not utilizing in the best of his abilities, because the enemy has all the excuses for him to run. We speak my heart. You always speak my heart when you talk about abortion. I cannot fathom abortion. Yeah. Amen. I can't fathom it either. Oh, she's 2, sorry. Okay, so Ellen, Lila is 2. That's awesome. That's probably why it's so soft and silky. So soft and silky. How precious. Yeah, so go find that, and go find that podcast and leave him a great review. He's a brand new podcaster, so definitely show him some love and help encourage him to pursue this path, if they don't take him off the air because of the controversial topic. We could talk about anything under the sun, but God forbid you talk about Christians, which was another podcast that he is, where they will, like, if you use Christian or Christianity in the tagline, they'll like block you. Google will block you. Google will, and YouTube will not promote you. In fact, my Ravelry gets it got threatened on monetization. I have like limited monetization from that, because I talk about abortion and I talk about Jesus. So the two things, that they don't like. So now they don't want to pay me for it. But I didn't put that video out so I can get paid, so it's okay. I'm okay with it. Savvy Skeins, Allie, I can't fathom abortion either. I can't imagine what life would be like without my son. If my son's birth mom would have chosen abortion, right? I can't. I can't. Lydia is a seller of purple in the New Testament. Oh, Lydia? We might. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to write that down. What do you think for Lila? Lydia's close to Lila. I might consider that one. I might consider on that one. Thank you. My son is in my heart. Amen. So here, if you guys don't know the reference to Allie's statement about abortion and her son's birth mom, Allie adopted a boy and as her son, and he, what country is he from? Is he from an African country, Allie? And he's from Texas. Okay. So her son is black, and what amazed me about her story, he's a beautiful creation, and she loves him to death and to pieces, and has raised him since birth. Did you adopt him since birth? He was 5 days old when we adopted him. 5 days old. He's been in your heart, on your heart for 5 days old, and he's how old now? You know what I mean? And that you've, like your own. I always said that if anybody comes into my house and does something to my little babies, Liberty and Indy, like the world's gonna go bananas. Like I'm gonna go bananas if anybody decides to hurt my two babies, right? And they're not even human. They're just dogs with four legs. I can't imagine the love that you have for your son, Allie. I can't imagine the love. He's 9 years old. So you adopted him at 5 days old, and the mom was drug addict and HIV positive, and you adopted your son, and for 9 years you've loved him, and that's like a billion times more than the days that he was on earth. And then Ravelry's policy is now calling you a white supremacist, and you lost so many. You lost how many people left your following? How many people? She lost a pattern designer, a crochet pattern designer, called her a white supremacist because she couldn't stand the thought of murdering an innocent life. That now Ravelry called her a white supremacist, do they not know the human being who is raising a 9-year-old son that was not from her? You know what I mean? That the Lord blessed into their world by giving him life, and then the mom following through, even though she was drug addict and HIV positive. And that lady knew you had a black son too. It's mind blowing. That's even crazier at how crazy that is. She knew you had a black son, and yet called you a white supremacist and would not work with you because you stood against abortion. The world is bananas. See, that's the broken world that we are seeking validation from when we're trying to please them. That's the broken world we're talking about. When I said, don't let other people, they are so ignorant, absolutely so ignorant. It's mind blowing. So, but that's the broken world, that when you think of when you want to please the world, and you think of when you're seeking validation from the outside world, remember that story. Remember, that's who you're trying to seek validation from. I will remember it because when people write me hateful comments on my YouTube channel, or because I speak my mind about it on that Ravelry video, and they call me dumb and an idiot, and that I'm going to hell, and that I'm such a moron, I think was one of the words for my opinion. I think it was one of the, and maybe more hateful comments. Sean's always like, you could delete it. I'm like, no, I want people to see. I want people to see what those comments look like, and what their words of hate look like, you know, and I don't have to engage in it, but they need to see what that looks like. Love is clear. Oh, it absolutely is. It absolutely is. The enemy is blind to so many eyes to the point where what they have missed what isn't even rational. Exactly. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sanshao. Yes. When I wrote, it was years ago when I decided to change my bio and put Jesus is my BFF. I I prayed long and hard over that, because not because the statement wasn't true. The statement was absolutely true. I prayed for the courage to let me do it anyway, because Satan likes to tell me I will lose my followers. Everybody will drop from my social media. I will be shunned on the social media world. I will be shunned from Instagram if I put that statement in my bio, and really just declare who my heart belongs to. And I remember when I did it, I was just like, I always remind myself, if people leave me because they can't stand the sight of the name Jesus, then they are so riddled. If they leave me, if they won't even give me the time of day because they can't stand the sight of the name Jesus, then that person is so riddled with the enemy that it I shouldn't be around those people anyways. Like, they wouldn't help my cause anyways. That takes a bigger power. That takes God to warm them up. If they are that way. That's like like the big. I think there was just a big court case recently. John was just telling me about it. He might even do he. Oh, I'll tell him it's an idea for another podcast for him. Was there's all these court cases against crosses on crosses, million-year-old crosses on cemeteries, that are like offending people that drive by the cemetery and they see the cross. And so they want to take all the crosses down. So there's a whole bunch of court cases. Luckily, I think the big one, the main one, they got denied. And so they were able to keep the cross up. The cross offends people? Where are we? I know I'm not Sarah Dawn from Australia, but we're in the United States here. Where are we that a symbol of the cross offends people, and we're going to court to take it down? When all those soldiers, it was a soldier cemetery. It was when all those soldiers fought for our freedom, for our liberty, for our God-given rights to be free in America. They fought and laid their life on the line for them, for us to be able to do what we are doing in this country, and now the cross offends people. What? Luckily, the judge did not see that. Luckily, the judge had common sense and saw how crazy that sounded. Everything offends people anymore. Yes, so true. Seriously. It shouldn't matter what color you are. If you love life, life lives you. Exactly. Amen. Kathy, when I hear the haters talk, I want to lose my temper. But I try to remember that they are lost and they need our prayers, since I was lost at one time as well. Amen. I I'm right there with you, Kathy. That is so true. Sarah is sending me a Facebook message. So is my girl who it's just like, Sarah, I'm on YouTube right now. Your notifications. I just sent you a picture. I know. I just responded. That's a cute one. What kind of dog is that? Is that the one you're making the bed over? All right. So listen. By the time I'm done, by this next week, I will have this beautiful scarf made, and I will write up a pattern to show you how to make it. But I'm also going to show you how to vary it in different ways so that you can make it your own. And my phone, my battery. I was ignoring the battery because I thought it was on my laptop, but my phone is threatening me. Thank you so much for spending time with me here. This was a great Saturday. This was a great, great Saturday. It makes me, if you don't believe why our symbol of God's loving sacrifice offends them. It amazes me if they don't believe why our symbol of God's sacrifice offends them. I know, exactly. When you, that, that symbol, that, I have my mama gave me, I have a video that's of my testament as to why Jesus is my BFF in the bio, in the, in my Instagram bio. I have a video on YouTube telling you the story of why I love Jesus. And it's from an anchor cross that my mom got me sweet when I was 16, and it's a gold anchor like a ship anchor with Jesus on the cross. At the time I was Catholic, and I used to lose it so many times on so many different ways. Short story. And every time I lost it, I was the only one that can find it. I lost it in the toy department at Hills during Christmas season. I lost it on my cousin's street, which got swept to across the street from the sweet sweeper after school. Like I got dropped off in the morning. We went to school. I lost it. Couldn't find it anywhere. And then at the end of the day, came home from school, found it across the street on the other side of the street where the sweet sweeper had pushed it, and it was just about to fall into the road gutter. And I came after school, and I found it there. I was going to find it. Everybody kept looking. I lost it in Nicholson in a gravel driveway for a week, and then came back the next week and found it. My daddy almost vacuumed it up one time in our house. That was the first time. And I found a glimmer on the ground sitting on the couch. Saw a glimmer right before my dad was about to vacuum it up. And I said, Daddy, what is that? And I was like, that was the anchor that I had lost. Every time I lost that anchor necklace or charm, I would be the only one that finds it. Nobody else could find it. Nobody else saw it. Over the years, I have learned, this is when I was a teenager, over the years I had learned that every time I lost it, one, I needed a stronger necklace. Second, every time I lost it, I was the only one to find it. And then I started to realize that was God's and me, my relationship with the Lord. Every time that I lost the charm, it was me losing my way with Him. And it was me losing my way with Him. And then I would be the only one to find it, would be my affirmation that it was our relationship. It was only me that could see Him through my eyes. And that's why I'm so convicted. I have such high conviction that the Lord is in my life, protecting me and always there for me. It's incredibly powerful. Now, my sister and my brother, raised from the same household, are not like me. They didn't have that. But I would think that the Lord is great enough to have those things with everybody, because He doesn't always shout. Sometimes He whispers. Excuse me. Sometimes he whispers, and he's had to whisper to me several times before I could see that connection, before I got to see. Now we're past it. I'm 41. We're past my anchor. I don't even wear it anymore. Whenever I need to find it, I find it. Like how I recently had to pull it up to show you guys when I decided to share that story, like last December, when I did a Christmas month leading up to Jesus' birthday. And so once in a while, so I'll pull it up there, but I don't even know where it is half the time. But I know that when I need it, I'll be there. Since then, I want to show my portrait. I keep wanting to show Yvonne my beautiful drawing that she sent me. Since then, I've had other ways that I communicate with the Lord, and He's always showing me when I'm lost, and He always has me finding ways. When that Ravelry video, that is the latest that I've had with Him, and it's going to be the most powerful thus far that I've had with Him, because He carried me through that entire week. He carried me through that entire week. He is shouting, and sometimes we listen. We want a donkey talking to me. Exactly. If He's shouting, you aren't listening. Exactly. I am in need of His strength right now. He provides. Yes, Aaron, that is so true. We all are. We all are. I think that's why it's so important that we hang out together. We meet, and we keep showing up this way for each other so that we can help each other out, because lifting you, exactly. Yes. Ellen, I think, is gone. She's I also do Monday morning motivation with Sarah, and now if I can't figure out this YouTube thing, this is gonna really rain on my parade. I'm gonna have to go through. I don't know if I can go live and add Sarah. I don't think I can go live with Sarah. Oh, look it, there's filters. Live chat, super chat member, and super chat members hide chats. Live chats are visible. Some messengers are potential spams. I don't know. Oh, we don't want that. All right. I need to figure out a way. My husband and I have been out of work for a year, no income. He just helped us pay the rent for August. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus, Aaron, right? The Lord always provides. Has here, read the book Lineage by Grace by Facine Rivers. Powerful book. Ooh, I'm going to write that down. I'm going to write that down, Annie. Lineage by Grace. Oh, I just lost it on. Lineage of Grace by Francine. Boy, did I read that wrong. I said Fascine. I'm like, what kind of name is that? Well, that's because it wasn't a name. Francine Rivers. Aaron, I'm going to be praying for you. I can't work. Disabled son. Put that on my list. Yes, I'm going to be praying for you. Aaron, so we're going to, let's stay tuned, and I'll be praying for you. I'm going to, all the more important reason for you to be figuring out a way to monetize your creativity, right? All the more reason to be creating, to be figuring out a way to monetize the gifts that the Lord has provided you. And so what we can't do is let the scary technology get in our way, or the scary opinions of the broken world stop us from validating what we are trying to do, right? So that's why we're here. That's what I'm called to do every day. That's what God wakes me up in the morning to come here. I've learned that years ago when I started Vone Knits and created the Dare to Be Original Facebook group, was I was in a community where I saw so many people riddled with fear, and so many people riddled, as myself, as with me, riddled with fear of of and and seeing how important it was that we helped each other get rid of those fears so that we can create and figure out ways to monetize our creativity. I'm a stay-at-home granny who cares for my grandchildren, especially my granddaughter who had a pediatric stroke. Oh no. Is something going to mess with our interview? Is something going? No. Sarah, our interview is fine. We do our interview through Zoom, through the Zoom interview. I think somebody said that you can go live through Zoom, but I don't know the technology of that work. But what happens for our creative interview, if you guys want to do a creative interview with me, to get your word out, to get your story out, message me and we set up a time, and it's 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's so I go live at 9, and then that gives me 2 hours to prepare, to go live with you guys and then prepare for the Zoom meeting. I send you a link to Zoom. Zoom is free, and it's a link to my virtual office, and then you and I will sit there on a split screen, chat a little bit, get comfortable, warm up. Once I realize our technology's good, then I hit the record button and I ask you some questions. We chat, you ask me questions, we have the conversations. You've seen how all the different creative interviews work. And then I hit stop record when we're done. And then that's what I upload to YouTube. That's what you guys see. And then you and I could chat for a little bit, say goodbye, and that's it. And that's how creative interviews work. It is not intimidating. It is not scary. It is just a conversation between two friends with the camera on it so that we share it with other people. That's all it is. And I get it. My son shouldn't survive birth. He's 17. Oh, right? Oh, wow. That's amazing. Thank you, Jesus, for that, right? Okay, guys, I literally have 5% left, and so my phone is going to crash on me. All right. Until next time, I don't know if it's going to be on this camera or if hopefully it's going to be back on my laptop. Thank you for joining me. This has been wonderful. You're going to see the finished product of this. Stay tuned for this pattern if you guys want it. And then go message Ellen from Senko Farms at Senko Farms on Instagram or Facebook, Senko Farms, SENKO. This is backwards, so you won't see it, but it's Senko Farms to get yarn, to get Lila's beautiful crossbreed yarn. That's amazing, ridiculously soft velvet. All right, more on that. Follow me on Instagram so you can see pictures of Lila with. And then stay tuned because of Savvy Skeins. Still coming up, praying over this thought. All right. God bless. Bye.